Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Live in the Hive. It's Thursday night, and thank you so much for joining me. We have got a great show for you ahead. We've got some really special guests coming up, and of course, we have got the one and the only Mini Me crew. Are you there, guys, this evening? Are you ready with the Harry and Daisy cam?
Yes, we are, Mummy.
So we've got Daisy and Harry, and you're outside of the Hive this evening. Are you looking forward to tonight's show?
Yeah.
Very overexcited already. I love it. I love it, guys. So tonight, Daisy, you have got a special fact for us, and it's quite apt, isn't it? Because there's a certain sporting event on at the moment, isn't there?
Yes, that sporting event is in fact Wimbledon.
Oh, right. So we've got a fact about Wimbledon coming up a little bit later on. We've also got a bit of a quiz for Daisy. Daisy, me and you are going a bit of a head-to-head later on to find out a bit more about you. But Harry, I know why you're overexcited, and it could be because we've got some amazing guests on the show. Who have we got on this evening?
Sharon and Gary Edward Jones.
Do you think you could do that one more time? Because it just burst my eardrums. Who have we got on the show?
Sharon and Gary Edward Jones.
Brilliant. I think everybody in the whole world knows who we've got on now, guys. But fantastic announcing. Look, we'll see you later on. Please don't touch the Haribos. Please don't touch the Haribos. Oh, they crack me up every single week. I know you guys are big fans of Harry and Daisy, and they will be back a little bit later on the show. Now, we'd love you to get involved in the show this evening. You know you can do that in lots of different ways. You might be watching on Facebook tonight. So if you're on Facebook on the Live in the Hive page, please do send us your comments in. We love hearing what you've got to say about the show, or if you've got any questions for our guests, and get involved in the conversation. And if you haven't already, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. All it is at Live in the Hive 21. So do spread the word, because we want more people to watch the Hive, don't we? We definitely do. I've just realized that when that banner comes across the screen, it looks like I'm quite naked in the Hive. That's not very good, is it? I'm definitely wearing something, honestly. I might have my legs out underneath here, but there you go. Before we go on, and without further ado though, I'm going to introduce my next guest. Now, I am so privileged to have her in the house. She's an amazing woman, and dare I say it, she's very cool, and I'm very cheesy. So, you know, it's really nice to have a cool guest in the Hive to make up for my tasty music, which is S Club 7, and she just hangs out with rock stars. Welcome to Sharon Latham. Sharon, you're live in the Hive.
Wow, cool. I've not been called cool for a long time. Thank you.
Do you know what? I really do think you're cool, because, you know, looking at your life, all right, you just have a number of people that, like I say, are rock stars, that are footballers. You're hanging out with them. I imagine they call you Shazza.
Yeah, Big Shaz, Shazza, Shazla, OU, various names, really.
It's fabulous. Well, tell us what you do, because I know what you do, but you know, people at home, if they haven't seen you before. Sharon, what is your job?
I am a photographer, and I specialise in celebrity music photography and sports photography. And little known fact, I was the first ever female Premier League club photographer.
Wow. Do you know, that is incredible? Really, really good. And the Premier League club was in our very own city. It's Man City.
Yeah,
it definitely was. What was that like? Were you a Man City fan beforehand?
Yeah, it was epic. Honestly, there were people say to me, "Oh, have you got pinch me moments? What were your favourite moments?" Every day getting up and going to that job was a pinch me moment. It was an honour, and it was just a privilege to also be there at that time as well, because I was there from around about 2008 to 2016. So it was the start of the glory days that are now continuing, thank God.
Wow. And going into that as the first female, you know, club photographer, that is, you know, not only great for women, but for you yourself, you're going into a real man's world, aren't you? What was that like for you?
Oh yeah, but I mean, for me, I was glad just to be accepted on the merit of my work, and that's ideally what I always want to be. I want to be accepted for my work rather than anything else. It is a male-dominated environment, but you just got to be good at what you do and get on with it.
And you are absolutely fantastic, and your work is amazing. You just seem to have this knack of capturing the moment. Did you always have that as a kid? Is that how you got into the photography?
Yeah.
Did you have that eye?
Yeah, I mean, I've been taking photographs since I was 8. My dad unfortunately died when I was 8, and I inherited his camera. And I've never not taken photos throughout all of my life, through the ups, the downs. Every part of my life, the camera was always something to fall back on, or it was a way to express myself emotionally as a teenager, an angry teenager. The camera would do it all for me. And it's always been there. I never, in a zillion years, thought that I'd be making a living from it. I never thought that it would be me mixing with rock stars, pop stars, and footballers. Not at all. For me, it was part of me. It was an extension of me, and it still is. And I'm just blessed that I get paid to do something that I absolutely love.
Oh, well, it is a talent. It really is, and I'm sure your dad is looking down and he's very, very proud of you right now.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
Well, you've got this fantastic exhibition, A New World Blazing, which is out at the moment. I saw it last night because we can see it online. It was just, the photographs are so dynamic and intimate, and they're all based on the fact that you went on the road with Noel Gallagher and his High Flying Birds, didn't you?
Yeah.
Not last year, the year before?
Oh, I've been on tour with him on and off now since 2016.
Wow.
And that came about when I first decided I was going to leave City, and I told him, and he was like, "Oh, what are you going to do? What's going to happen? You can't leave City. That's stupid." Because he knows I was a City fan, and we've got on so well over the years at City. And I just said, I've got other things I can be doing, Noel. You know, I don't have to take footballer photographs. So, and his final line to me was, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I just jokingly said, "Well, I'll come on tour with you." And he just went, "Oh, okay then." And that was it. In 2016, I started going on the odd festival thing. And then from there, it escalated. And I found myself in America for 5-6 weeks on the road, which was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I've got one of the pictures you've actually took with Noel, because we know Noel is a massive Man City fan. So obviously, you'd have had that connection with him over the years. But this one, this photo was really special to Noel, wasn't it? This one.
Yes.
I think we're going to put it up.
Yeah, so that was the second Premier League win. And as you can see, he's got the captain's armband on. Vinny had given him that as he literally ran on the pitch. And he ran to find Sergio to get hold of him. And he did find him. And that was the moment I literally ran after him. I was chasing him on the pitch thinking, there's going to be a good picture here. And that was the one. And he's now got that in his studio.
Well, you would, wouldn't you? I mean, gosh, if you're wearing the captain's armband as a Man City fan, that's got to be the ultimate.
Yeah.
Wow. So obviously, having travelled with Man City and the club, you know, you're travelling with footballers, but what's it like when you're doing that with a rock star like Noel? What's the difference?
Do you know what? There's not much difference, because somebody asked me this the other day about photographing as well. Is it a different way to photograph? But sports is a moving genre, as is music and artists. So the similar techniques there. Being on the road, there was different instances. So in Europe, I was on the tour bus with the backroom staff and all the rest of it. But in America, the tour buses are slightly different. So I was given an SUV and sent off on my own, following the back of the tour buses, which was fantastic. And I got to see a lot more of America than I thought I would. But yeah, there was everything from snowstorms at the start to ended up in LA in brilliant sunshine. It was all weathers in between.
Oh.
And then a similar thing happened when we went to Australia in 2019 with U2. We toured with U2. And they were all flying between the points because it's such a big country and it's epic. And the tours were in like Perth, Melbourne, Adelaide, all these key points. And there was 3 days in between. So I said, I don't want to fly. Just get us a camper van. So I camper vanned all around Australia and put it all on Instagram and had a great time. Gosh. So in between each gig, I just literally got in the camper van and set off ready for the next one.
Not only is it great experience being on tour with who you're on tour with, but that's, you know, seeing places like
Yeah,
that in that
exactly.
kind of way.
Yeah.
You don't get those opportunities, do you?
No, I love traveling. It's one of my things as well. So to get to do it with, as you say, with Man City, and to get to do it with other artists that I've worked with and Noel, it's fabulous. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at some of these photographs because, as I say, I looked at them, and now the exhibition opened on, I think it was the 22nd of June, and it's an online exhibition. I'm going to put the website up in a moment so people can go to it. And what's great about it is you can do a 360 tour of the gallery.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like you're getting that, you know, that moment with the pictures, and this documents you being on the road. And was it on the road at all those places that you've mentioned then?
Yeah, it was from around 2016 straight through to 2019. So there's everything from the tour that we did with U2 to the American tour. There's even some behind the scenes shots from video shoots and things like that. So yeah, there's a lot in there.
Well, I'm going to take a look at this one because obviously this is him in the studio, I would have said. Tell us
the magic.
That where the magic happens.
Yeah, and that is a funny situation because it's a very small studio. That was one of the side rooms to it. And the very small studio meant that I was having to crawl into unusual spaces. And unfortunately, at one point, I kept thinking in my head, don't breathe, don't talk, don't sneeze. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm recording live. And what did I do? Literally went to sit down and knocked a whole bunch of jingle bell things off a drum, and it all just went ka-ching.
Oh, no.
And Noel just looked at me and went, Shaz, I'm going to ask you to leave in a minute if you don't stop it. So I was like, oh. So I was hiding behind drum kits and crawling behind amps and all the rest of it, as I normally do. But I'm not a delicate little wallflower. I'm 6'1". So I'm like, oh, I have to contort myself into all sorts of angles.
But the thing is, that's it. To get the right picture, you knew you were going to get, you know, the right moment, weren't you? So you have to do these things. I like this one of Noel, though. I think he looks very relaxed and just chilled in a good place.
Yeah, that is that was backstage, amazingly enough, in a piazza in Italy. And the actual venue where we were playing was in a square. It was absolutely beautiful. And that was us just chilling out beforehand, getting ready to go on stage.
God. What makes you decide whether to make the shot black and white or colour? Is there a reason behind that?
This is a bone of contention with a lot of people and me, because I prefer to shoot in black and white. Basically because I think colour is a very personal thing to various people. Your red is a completely red than I see. A completely different red than I see. Your green's a completely different green than what I see. Whereas black and white, everybody sees black and white. And I just think it's a cooler and more expressive way to photograph. And I just prefer black and white. I always have done. But then when you've got things like the beautiful lights that come on the stage and all the stuff that's going on, colour does tend to pop as well. But yeah, if I had my way, I'd shoot everything in black and white.
I like it. I think it's a lot more arty.
Everybody looks good in black and white. Honestly, doesn't matter if you've got bags under your eyes or whatever. Black and white cures all.
Do you think I could shoot this show in black and white?
Go for it. Go for it. You don't need it though. Look at you, pop a colour.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to show one of my favourite ones now because I think this one is it. You can sense the emotion and the passion. It just sums it all up. This shot for me.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Incredible. This look at that. Yeah. This is what a concert is all about. This is what we've been missing for a year and a half.
Yeah, that was quite an emotional night because that was the first gig for me shooting back at the MEN Arena after the Ariana Grande bombing. Wow. So it was quite emotional. And when that was taken from on the stage and I was literally behind an amp. And it's emotional anyway sometimes when you hear those songs being sung back. But in that environment, it was just surreal. And I did spend a lot of time skriking, which is a bit daft, but I did. And then when I was looking through the pictures and I looked at this, it just resonated with me so clearly. And Noel's quite insignificant in the corner of that picture, but the rest of it speaks for itself. And my daughter's in that shot.
Shut up. Is she? Do you know where she is?
Yeah.
That's great. I love
that. Wasn't intentional. It was just the sweep of the room at the time that I shot, and that's what I got.
Yeah, because actually all those faces you wouldn't know if you were going to catch, would you, if you were standing behind an amp?
But I know exactly where she is, and I can see her.
Oh, that is wonderful. That really is. Do you know, what is it like looking out onto a crowd like that?
As I say, it's the same because the songs get sung back so loudly. I don't know how an artist like that copes, but they do. They're very focused on what they're doing and they're enjoying it. But there's certain songs that get sung back. I mean, the anthems and all the rest of it. But there are also certain songs from the High Flying Birds that I absolutely love. And you see the crowd sort of bopping and getting into it all. It's epic. The best of it is Noel sometimes. So at the end of the gigs, for the last sort of 3 songs, I will sneak on the stage and literally sit behind Chris Sharrett, the drummer, hiding so that I can pop up every now and again, trying not to be seen, but I do get seen, pop up every now and again, get a shot and pop down again. And Noel will sometimes turn round and look at Chris and then he'll forget I'm there and he'll go like, what the? And he'll go, and there's many occasion when he's flicking the V's at me or stuck his tongue out and gone, what are you doing there? So, but that's for the shot. It's for the shot. No.
And you're there when they come off stage. You see all kind of the adrenaline that they must get. What's that like?
You can see, I mean, going on stage as well, you get to, and the in between the encores, and it's great, but it's also a case of you've got to be careful that you're not in the way and you're far enough away to capture the moments and make sure they're candid enough and come across well enough that you're a fly on the wall, and you want to make sure that, I always think, what would a fan want to see? What would I want to see as a fan? And I'll try and make sure that I shoot enough of that as well. I'll sometimes have a plan in my head if we're at a certain venue. Especially if I know the venue and I know where I can go. But then again, you're working blind when you're in America and you're going to these beautiful vaudeville theatres and stuff like that. So, yeah, I always try and think, right, okay, where can I go? Where can I get? So I'll recce places out as well when we get there.
Didn't you go to the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville?
Yeah.
I mean, that is iconic, that building.
Yeah, and the shot in the exhibition is just Noel stood, and it was in sound check. And he literally walked on the stage and he just stood there for a minute. And I saw him and he was just standing there. And this whole beautiful room in front of you, it's like a church. It genuinely is like a church. There's stained glass windows at the front. So I literally did a CID roll on the floor just to make sure I got the shot. And I literally snapped one snap and then he moved. So luckily, it is a really pretty shot and it shows.
And you got it in one.
Yeah. After doing a forward roll and a somersault to get into position.
We need to do a documentary following you around, Sharon.
But listen, do you know what? There are so many other amazing music photographers, and they're all doing the same as me. I'd love to go around and see how they do it and document what they're doing. I think that'd make a great program.
Oh no!
Just on the road, documenting other photographers.
Now, tell us about this one, because I like the lighting in this one. I do kind of like the way that it's kind of shone on him, and then you've got all the bits of the shadow and stuff.
I just think sometimes and again, because I know the set so well and I know what lighting's coming, and that was it was a beautifully lit arena and a lit room, should I say, but at one point all the lights went out and I was thinking, quick, crank up the camera. And I was at the side again, and I managed to get that shot, and he looked so cool. But then at the end of the day, he's wearing sunglasses indoors. Is it cool?
He is. I've got to say, he could probably get away with anything, Sharon.
I was going to put my shades on tonight, and then I thought, no, I'm just not cool enough for that. And then you go and call me cool, so I'm thinking maybe I should have put the shades on.
Oh, I'll let you, if it's a hand, you can pop them on. I don't care. It's fine. Those are just a flavour of what you've got on display. How long is the exhibition running for?
So at the moment, the exhibition's online only, and it's running indefinitely. And then we're looking to sort of probably, when things calm down a little bit, when the old pandemic goes and things are a little bit easier, then we're going to start finding, on the road locations for you to actually go and see it live as well.
Oh, that would be amazing. But ultimately, for super fans, you can own these pictures.
You can own every single one of them, and you should.
How do you do that? Do you go to a newworldblazing.com?
Yeah,
Where they are?
newworldblazing.com, and that'll take you to that tour that you were talking about. So you can literally see all of the pictures on the wall and have a look at each one of them, and then click onto it, and it will take you through to the link to actually see the picture close up even further, and then bye.
And there's some really special edition ones that have been signed.
Yeah, there's a few of those left as well. There's some beautiful deluxe pieces which are about 1 meter in height, which are just fantastic, and they're printed on acrylic, so they're not actually in a frame, but they actually float off the wall, how they hang on the back. And then the prints as well are just spectacular. Well, I'm saying that I sound big-headed, don't I?
No, I think they're spectacular. I do.
I think they look great. I think
they're spectacular in a way that even if you aren't a huge Noel fan, I think you can appreciate the art and the way that it is.
Thank you.
I genuinely do, honestly. And I did have a really good night last night. I had my glass of wine.
Good girl.
I had some music on.
Like a proper exhibition. Glass of wine, walk around.
And I didn't have to bump into anyone on the way. It was like I could look. Yeah, I could look at the photograph for as long as I wanted.
Exactly. And you can zoom in and go, on that bit there.
Now, I'm going to ask you before we go just a couple more questions. One in particular is an interesting photo that I saw last night, because I believe Mr. Gallagher doesn't drive. And yet, look at this.
I know. Sneaky. He doesn't drive. He hasn't even got a license. It's a well-known fact. Yeah. We were in, again, that was in America, and we're in the Joshua Tree Desert, which, can I just say, if you ever get a chance, go, because it's unreal. And we were shooting a video, and it was like a really long video shoot. But part of it, Noel had to look like he was driving a school bus. So the producer put him in that. And I was like, go on then, turn it on. And he's like, no, Sharon, go away. It was all shot, and he just opened the door and got out of it and looked like he'd been driving it, but he hadn't.
Can you get away with saying anything to Noel?
Yeah, but I get shot down a lot.
He's a mank. He's a mank, isn't he, like us? So,
and that's the thing. The banter's there. It was the same with the footballers. You got to have banter.
Yeah, you've got to have bands. Last question then I'm going to say is, I'm going to put you on the spot here, because I know that you've shot Springsteen, you've shot the Rolling Stones. It feels like I'm name dropping everything. It's just your life. Who has been the best person that you have interviewed, and who would you like to interview in the future? Not interview. That's me just interviewing, photographing.
Well, to be honest with you, I can't choose a favourite, because they're all different in so many ways. I really can't. If I'm being honest, it's so much fun touring with the High Flying Birds. That's great. It's epic, and that's one thing I want to continue doing. I have got a long list of wanna-dos, and I want to get a Beatle. I've not got a Beatle, so I'd love a Ringo or a Paul McCartney shot. I also absolutely love doing the film stuff as well, so I do like film premieres and things like that. And I'd love to do some work with Mads Mikkelsen. I love Mads Mikkelsen. I love him. Shout out if anybody knows him. I need to photograph that man. He has the most beautiful structured face ever. And I just think he's epic. And then there's another long list of other people. Elton John's on there as well, because I've never shot Elton. And I'd really love to do him.
He'd be good. He'd be very good. See, I was thinking you might say Bradley Cooper, because that's who I'd have any day.
Bradley Cooper. Well, let's not talk about that, because I've got a story about Bradley Cooper.
Oh, is this off screen that we chat about the story?
No, well, it's a good story. A lot of people know it. I've got a selfie with Bradley Cooper. You need to check that out. It's a really good story.
Fantastic. I will check that out. I might have you back on to tell us all about that one. That's amazing. Mate,
there's an X-rated version of this, but let's not talk about it.
Is it like The Hangover Part 4?
Part 10.
I love you, Sharon. Absolutely. Do you know what? It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you for asking me on. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries. Honestly, you have to go and see this, guys. It's a really, really good exhibition. It's a New World Blazing, and it is online right now. And we'll put up the website one more time just for good luck. If you want to go to it, it is there. And thank you. Have a lovely evening, Sharon, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me.
Oh, take care. What a fantastic photographer. She is absolutely amazing. And what a life, you know, going on tour like that with Noel and then going on with the Man City players. Flipping heck. Now, Daisy, is that the kind of thing that you would love if you went on tour with a rock star?
Yeah, totally.
How are you doing? Did you like that interview with Sharon?
Yes, I did like that interview. It was very good.
She
I
is
liked all
really,
the
really good.
pictures.
Yeah.
Although Man United is better than Man City.
Oh, well, we won't go there. We won't go there because it might upset Sharon if we say that United is better than City. So we'll stop right now. I have got a quick quiz for you because you might remember, everybody, that a couple of weeks ago, Daisy pulled out a quiz to me and kind of put me to the test. So it's not a real quiz, is it? It's just kind of an either or. It was finding about, you know, what you like and what you don't like or what you prefer. So I thought I'd get my own back. And I've got one for you right now. Are you ready, Daisy?
I am ready.
Audience, are you ready to find out about Daisy? I think they're ready. Okay, so chocolate or Haribos?
Chocolate, way more than Haribos.
Roller skating or dancing?
Dancing.
Dancing. Kylie Minogue or Kylie Jenner?
Kylie Jenner.
I really didn't bring you up the right way. Wicked the musical or Six the musical?
Six the musical.
David Williams or Jacqueline Wilson?
Jacqueline Wilson. Yeah.
Cold weather or warm weather?
Cold weather.
Radio Manchester's Mike Sweeney or Radio Manchester's Phil Trow?
You can't make me choose. You can't.
Not even?
No. No.
YouTube or TikTok?
TikTok.
Mummy or daddy?
I'm not saying that.
Can you believe you were hesitating more on Mike Sweeney and Phil Trow than Mummy or daddy? I think you're actually going to say something there, Daisy. I will let you off for now. You've got your fact of the day coming up, haven't you?
I have, and it's a very good one.
Okay. Well, we'll see you very shortly. I'm going to go to my next guest now, but bye for now.
Bye.
Mummy or daddy? She definitely loves Mummy more than daddy. Honestly, she does. We'll get back later. Okay, so next up, we have got our second guest this evening, and he is absolutely fantastic. He is a singer-songwriter from Liverpool called Gary Edward Jones, and he is starring in a very special show. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Just absolutely blown away.
Absolutely fantastic.
I thought it was a wonderful show tonight, really captivating.
Oh, he played them really, really well tonight.
I sat there and I'd think, oh, this is my favourite song. And then another song would come on and I think, no, this is my favourite song. So
something about Simon, and Liverpool singer-songwriter Gary Edward Jones is the man in the spotlight. I nearly fell over when you walked in, Gary. I thought he was here.
This is me Bugsy Malone, look sure.
Well, it's a Paul Simon look, all right.
On a tour of one night stands, my suitcase and guitar in hand. Every stop is neatly planned for a poet and a one-man band. Oh, I'm sure.
Come to the show, it's amazing, you won't regret it.
you don't need to be a Paul Simon fan, but you will leave being a Paul Simon fan and a Gary Edwards Jones fan as well.
And so the man himself, Gary Edward Jones, welcome to Live in the Hive.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. It's so good to have you here this evening. That trailer made me feel so excited about the show. And you realise, how wonderful Paul Simon was and still is as an artist.
Absolutely. His songs are incredible, but I was never really into Paul Simon. It was my dad who was into Paul Simon. And I was actually sick to death of listening to them because he would play them all the time. And I was into the Smiths and the Clash and bands like that, growing up. So it would be a battle of the Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi, the battle of the hi-fis, I should say. And it was, yeah, I think my dad won though, because he had bigger speakers than me.
I've got to say, like the broadcaster on, I think that was Radio Merseyside said,
yeah,
you bear a resemblance to Paul Simon. I have to say.
I always find, can I just move this curtain back, by the way, because my studio is literally behind here with all my guitars and things. So
do that.
I wasn't doing that to show off. I was doing that because it looks ridiculous on your screen. I think because it's not a tribute show as such, I'm being myself, because the whole story of the show is my journey of discovery of his songs, Paul's songs. And when I first, my dad had been on to me for years to get into Paul Simon, and I went completely the opposite way. I'm a singer-songwriter myself, but I eventually succumbed and started listening to his very first solo album, The Songbook, and I was hooked from that minute.
I mean, he's got a fantastic voice, but how do you get from, I suppose, finding him and getting hooked on that to then, producing this show, which is something about Simon? And yeah, how do you start that process?
Well, every time I'd go out, I couldn't seem to get away from him. Comparisons. So with my own music, I released an album in 2014 called The Cabinet Maker, which is my own material. But any time after a gig, anywhere you would go, honestly, it could be abroad, it could be in this country, somebody would come up to you and say, "You really remind me of Paul Simon," to the point where you'd be butting your head against the wall, singing, "Oh, my dad, it's my dad's influence." Like, what's happened? I would much rather be, the Clash or the Cure or something like that, but that just didn't work. So I decided, I came home after one show that we'd had, and I spoke to my wife and I said, "Listen, I think I'm going to do something about this. I don't know what it is, but I need to do a show, learn some songs, put it to bed, walk away. And anybody who makes those comparisons can make them there. Then I move on with my career." But that obviously didn't happen. Sorry, there's a knocking noise, and it's my dog who always wants to say hello to everyone, but she can stay there for now. And
that's fine. We had a squeaking noise outside. My dog's in the garden and he's got a squeaky pig. So, we're stealing each other's dog here.
She has the same toy, the pink pig. Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about. Yeah.
It's quite frustrating, Gary.
It is. She usually brings it in when there's interviews or when I'm rehearsing, oink, oink, squeaking the thing. But yeah, I decided to put that show on and just literally put it to bed. But it didn't happen that way because there was 2 standing ovations. A standing ovation after I'd finished, and then a standing ovation, literally what I thought had finished, after the encore. And the encore was, it's the golden rule, you don't play another song again that you played in the set, but they wanted to hear another song that I played in the set. So my moral brain was going, "Don't do it, don't do it." But I obviously succumbed and played the song that they were all asking for, which was Graceland. And I came off stage. There were a few Canadians in the audience, a few Americans in the audience who really appreciated it and just said, when are you going to do this gig again? And I said, well, I've got no plans whatsoever to do it again. And because it was a bit of a task learning 24 songs,
Yeah.
So all of them incredibly intricate, like still crazy after all these years, through to Homeward Bound, through to The Boxer. The list is endless. Through to Graceland, where you're playing the rhythm, the lead, the bass with your hands, and you can see a few people are just looking. That's the guitar indeed, which is just flashed up.
Yeah.
You can see people looking, thinking, how is he actually doing that? But what they don't realize is probably the 10,000 hours that have gone into learning those songs to make them as flawless as you possibly can. You know, there's a lot of hours that have gone into this show.
Well, yeah, because you'd have to do, I suppose, a lot of research about
Yeah.
Paul Simon. So kind of watching performances, you know, getting to know the songs and everything. But it's not, people, when they come to see this, it isn't a tribute show. You're not doing it. Is it a boy or a girl?
Girl, Poppy Jones.
Oh, she's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous.
But she does know it as well. Trust me.
She's like any woman. But Gary, you know, they're not going to see this tribute show. You have, like you said, made yourself a part of this and your stories.
Yeah, absolutely. It's when I finished the show, I got in touch with Bill Elms, who's a very good friend of mine. Bill Elms PR in Liverpool, and I said, "Listen, this has happened. What do you think we should do?" And he said, "Let's just put on a couple of shows in the Epstein Theatre in Liverpool." So we did, which was probably a year after I did the first show. And again, we got a standing ovation on both nights. So he understood what I was getting from the first show when those two shows were finished, you know. And he said, right, okay, I get it now. You know, we're going to have to do something about it. Then I got in touch with another friend of mine, John Fellows, who's a tech guy and a writer, a script writer, because I put something together initially, a narrative that ran through, linking the songs together. Because what I always, if I do anything, it has to be so authentic. Everything down to the way he plays his songs, it has to be as authentic as I first heard it. The very first recording of what he put out, or the first, there are interviews with in 1974, 77 with a American TV show host called Dick Cavett, who interviewed him, where he's working out still crazy after all these years on the guitar, on the sofa, and asking the host, where do you think I should go with this chord? Do you think I should go to a C sharp minor? Do you think I should go to a B flat? And you're looking at him thinking, do you actually realize how complex and incredible this song is? And you're asking a TV host which way you should go with it. Yeah,
it's crazy, phenomenal. Isn't it?
Yeah,
it must be, you know, this show must be amazing for Paul Simon fans because
definitely,
you know, it's the ultimate, isn't it?
Well, you just let me just grab my guitar. It's all down to, very quickly, I didn't think I was going to be picking my guitar up, but it's all down to songs like, let me just make sure I'm in tune. It's close enough. So even down to the likes of Kathy's song, which is a particular favourite of the Paul Simon fans. It's learning all the intros and making sure they're all right. I hear the drizzle of the rain, like a memory it falls, and so on and so on. You know, you're trying to learn everything as authentically as it is when it's played, and the likes of Heart and Bones, which is just about him and Carrie Fisher, the very turbulent relationship, but the lyrics in the song, it was pretty much cast off by music critics when it was written, and you listen back to it. I was instantly hooked to the lyrics and instantly hooked to this the opening riff, which is just beautiful.
I mean, he's a legend from the days of Simon and Garfunkel, and then to where he progressed to. And I actually found out today he's 79. 79,
yeah. 80
wow.
in November, yeah.
Has he ever connected with you? Would you just love him to do that?
Somebody asked me that recently. The answer is no. He hasn't connected with me. But I imagine there are people who are tribute acts. We're not a tribute act. We're literally it's a tribute to Paul Simon, but it's an authentic show about the stories that link the songs, like I've mentioned, and trying to be as authentic as possible with the guitar playing, because in audiences, you've always got the guys who have almost got 2-inch eyeballs looking at everything you're playing, because they've obviously grown up on that and probably learned the songs as they've gone. But we played New York in, do you know what, I've lost track of what year we're in at the moment because of this pandemic. 2021, so 2019, December 2019. I'll let you know, just to give you a little backstory to this. When we played the 2 shows in Liverpool, as I mentioned to you, the Epstein Theatre, we got approached by a guy who said, I think you should play Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Now, I'd never done anything like that, and it was monumental, believe it. 27 days of gigs, it was continuously. It was full on, it really was. But what happened there was we got great reviews, we got lovely crowds, lots of tourists who came in, Americans who were just, I've never seen so many grown men cry, I've got to be honest with you, in this show, because it takes them back, and so many people have said, back to the parents' house when the father's playing the record on a dance set record player, but grown men really just pouring the heart out to me, but crying in the audience, and you can hear it sometimes. When you're playing really soft songs like Still Crazy, where there are empty spaces.
It is emotional though, music. I do find that a track can take you back to a certain time in your life, and that's how they're reacting.
That's exactly how they are reacting. But when we played the Fringe, we got approached by a guy called Darren Lee Cole, who owns the New York Soho Playhouse. So we went over there, and there was rumours that Paul's daughter Lula would be coming to see the show. But we don't know whether she came or she didn't. So we don't know whether it was a spying mission that happened or it didn't happen. But one thing we do know is the audiences were so appreciative of a northern lad coming over to Paul Simon's backyard and playing his songs. They couldn't believe that a guy would come over and do that. And I think they were always expecting an American guy, a New York guy, someone from that part of the world to New Jersey, obviously, because that's where Paul was born, or went to school, certainly. That it would always be a New Jersey boy or a New York boy, but the fact that it was a northern lad, from north of England,
it's a Liverpudlian,
Exactly.
Who could they not want over there? Because Liverpudlians, like Mancunians, we've got the banter. Like Sharon said earlier on tonight, we've got the banter. We
get anywhere where water wouldn't get, trust me. We really do.
Absolutely. My mother-in-law says you like olive oil. You'll get anywhere. That's what my mother-in-law Joan says, and she's very right.
Exactly. Look, my best friend is a Mancunian. It's we have a lot of banter. We're probably very, very similar. I think that football canal rivalry doesn't even enter our conversations. We're not interested. We're friends at the end of the day.
You are coming up north. You're coming to see us up in Altrincham, aren't you?
Absolutely.
I've got some of the show dates because you've just been to the Brighton Fringe. How was that?
That was different because obviously it was socially distanced, and it was they'd usually have a footfall of 3,000 people probably within an hour, but it was 1,000 people, so obviously they'd had to come down by a third and cut numbers. But the audiences again were just appreciative to see live music again, but to see a theatre show, and it was just you probably don't know because I haven't told you, but after every show, I always go out and greet people. I just thank them because it's very I'm so grateful to be able to do this for a living. It's just, you know, it's a pinch me moment. And when you come off stage, all I want to do is say to everybody, thank you so much for coming. But they didn't want me to do that at Brighton Fringe, but I still found a way to hide behind a fence that was 2 meters away with my mask on to say, guys, thank you so much for coming, and talk to them and ask them about their experiences, because I don't know everything about Paul Simon. So it's lovely to get bits from them. I only know what I've read and chose to put in the show, you know.
Well, that would mean a lot to them as well. So
Yeah.
keep doing it. And I believe you're going to be in Altrincham very, very soon, which is just down the road from me. You'll get a fantastic reception there.
Oh, I'm so excited about that. It's just nice to be back, you know, playing, because last year, September, October last year, we were due to play an 8-week run off Broadway, and literally, you know, the rug was pulled beneath you from obviously what happened with COVID. But you've got to remember that everyone's in the same boat in the arts world. So I've got so many friends who've had to take jobs and they've given up on music, and that's the saddest part. It's really sad. But because I played for so long, it could have happened to me. But I've got a lot of passion for music, and it's I'm not saying they haven't. I just think people have different degrees of hitting the wall and going, I can't go any further, you know.
It's hard, but you keep that passion, because you sound fantastic.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Looks amazing. And even if, you know, you don't know much about Paul Simon, by the end of it, you'll know wonderful things about him. You get all those songs. And thank you so much, because when we go out of the show very soon, we are going to be playing one of your songs out of the show. It's Homeward Bound.
Ooh,
I know. And you know, when you come and see the show, Something About Simon, you get to hear the backstory behind Homeward Bound, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't kill you over the internet, because it's worth it. You need to come to the show. It's not just for Paul Simon fans as well. It always seems to be 50-50 split, where the husband drags his wife or the wife drags the husband along. And it seems to work, where they're pleasantly surprised, because a lot of people probably only know Paul from Graceland. So it's nice to listen to those backstories and how him and Artie got together, how the song was or wasn't written, Homeward Bound, at certain railway stations. Oh. We will have to wait and see.
We have got your wonderful vocals, as I say, playing us out. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and good luck with the rest of the run.
Lovely to speak to you. Take care now.
Take care. Bye-bye. The wonderful Gary Edward Jones there, and the show is Something About Simon. So do check it out, everybody. But now I'm going to go back to our mini-me's. Has Harry left us? Has Harry just kind of done a Piers Morgan and just walked off out of the studio?
He might have, or he might have just disappeared.
He's gone having sweeties, hasn't he?
Maybe.
Okay, well, we've got 2 things to do now, me and Daisy. We have got your fact of the week, but we've also got a very special message. Oh, see, look, you don't know about this, but today is the first anniversary of Uncle Darren, your uncle, and his girlfriend, Shelley. It's their first anniversary of getting together. Oh, lots of love.
And they're watching right now as well.
Oh, they're watching right now. So Shelley and Darren, wishing you a happy anniversary. And I know Shelley wanted to say to Darren that she loves him lots. Oh, get a room, guys. Get a room. All right, we'll go from love to, hey, that's like tennis. Love, 40. Love, you'll get it one day. All right, Wimbledon facts of the week, Daisy. Go for it.
Okay, so in 2017, when you came to Wimbledon, Mum, the tournament saw 23 tons of strawberries served up to everyone. Isn't that crazy? And laid out in a line, it would stretch an astonishing 37 miles tip to tip.
Wow. I actually had to pause then and think, that is a heck of a lot of strawberries.
23 tons is so much.
You'd have a proper stomach ache if you were eating all those strawberries.
Who's eating all the strawberries?
I don't know. Thank you so much. You need to go and find Harry now, and you are joining me again next week, and Harry will be back in that seat next to you. Have you had a good show?
Yeah, we both have.
Well, bye for now, Daisy. Thank you so much. Oh, there you go. Bye. Oh, she's back again. No, she's gone. Well, that's it for tonight's show. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Next week, we have got some amazing guests in store as well. We have got Hope Mills, Joseph Houston, and we have also got a very, very special guest as well. But do you know what? I'm going to keep you guessing until next week. Or should I not? No. He's a wonderful explorer, and he is called Bernie Hollywood. Oh, what a name. What a name. So until next week, I am going to sign off, and I'm going to leave you with the wonderful music of our guest, Gary Edward Jones, and Homeward Bound. But I wanted to dedicate this show first and foremost tonight to a wonderful man who has left us, and we miss him lots. And I know that he is watching somewhere in the world. So tonight, I'm raising a glass to you, Roy.
I'm sitting in a railway station, got a ticket for my destination. On a tour of one-night stands, my suitcase and guitar in hand. Every stop is neatly planned for a poet and a one-man band. Homeward-bound, I wish I was homeward-bound. Home, with my thoughts escaping home, with my music's playing home, with my love lies waiting silently. Every day's in the stream, cigarettes and magazines. And each town looks the same to me, the movies and the factories. Every stranger's face I see reminds me that I long to be homebound. I wish I was homebound. Home, when my thoughts escaping home, when my music's playing home, when my love lies waiting silently for me. Tonight I'll sing my songs again, I'll play the game and pretend. But all my words come back to me in shades of mediocrity. Like emptiness and harmony, I need someone to comfort me. Homeward bound, I wish I was homeward bound. Home, when my thoughts escaping home, when my music's playing home, when my love lies waiting silently for me.
The tickers and everything were really brilliant. You need to post it straight away though.